So here are a few Sunday afterthoughts from Easter. What a great day it was. Nothing quite like that very special Sunday. It's the high point of the year for us as followers of Jesus, and that was certainly the case as we gathered in great numbers with so much to celebrate. This year we were looking at the Gospel of Mark, and so in many ways that's the most unusual of the Easter stories because it's by far the most abrupt. You see, the oldest forms of the Gospel of Mark end with verse 8, which simply has the women who have come and then found the tomb empty and Jesus' body not there, them leaving just confused, afraid, and alarmed, and not able to tell anyone about it, and then that's the end. We talked about the fact there are a lot of theories about that, whether there's a missing ending or whether somebody finished it later, because that would explain why later versions of the Gospel of Mark have a few extra verses, or whether all along that was the original intention, just to end with that. But as we looked at it, we realized that in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, there are signs that just finding out about the empty tomb or hearing the word that Jesus had risen, that really wasn't enough. And in all the cases, both the disciples and the women who attended his body were left confused. They really didn't understand everything that had happened. Well, we went several directions with that, but as I ended the message yesterday, one of the things I talked about was that the Easter message can affect us quite differently based on what's going on in our life. There are some amazing stories of people whose lives are really turned topsy-turvy and nothing is working out right, and then at some point their eyes are open and the reality of Jesus becomes their hope, their answer, and things begin to line up, and suddenly they are able to find power that they did not have elsewhere, and praise God when that happens. On the other hand, perhaps there are more and more people, especially in our culture, that if you as a Christian were to go up and try to tell them this is what you need, this is the answer to your problems, many of them would say, "What problems? I have no problems, everything's great." And they really don't seem to present the same kind of desperate desire for an answer. It's kind of frustrating it's sort of like saying, "I've got an answer for a question you're not asking." Okay? Now, somebody who's a bang-up salesman, sometimes they say, "I could sell a freezer to an Eskimo." Well, that's a good salesman, but normally for most people you're not going to be able to convince somebody that something is the answer to their problem if they don't understand that they have a problem. And to be honest, what happens is that the good news of Jesus can actually become a challenge to us. If everything's messed up in our lives and we know it, then the hope of Jesus becomes sort of a compass that helps line everything up. But if we have everything under control, if life is exactly what we want it to be, and I've seen this happen, and maybe you have too, then the powerful message of Jesus can sometimes be the thing that knocks everything over. It's sort of like a puzzle that you put together wrong, and you have to take apart all the pieces before you can start over. All of that's a reminder that our faith is really not a one-size-fits-all thing. It's not just one simple message that I can write down on a 3x5 card that I say, "Here's all the answers in your life. Just sign the bottom of the line and everything will be okay." Easter, the center of our faith, is not the end of the story. It's not the happily ever after ending like we were talking about. It's really the beginning of the story. It's the beginning of an amazing chapter of God working. And sometimes it means just having to let a few things go and sort of deconstruct before we can begin reconstructing. That's a hard message to share. In many ways, I wish I could just sort of give you something real simple and say, well, just agree with that and you've got it made. But life is not like that. Our faith would be cheating you if we tried to make it simplistic. The gospel is simple, but it is not simplistic. We talked about the fact on Sunday that Easter is not just one day, it's a season. And we're going to be beginning this coming Sunday to the book of Acts. That's our focus for the Easter season between now and Pentecost, the coming Sundays leading up to the middle of May when we celebrate Pentecost. So keep the Easter spirit and begin reconstructing his good news, the good news that will really help line things up. You may lose some things along the way. You've got to be honest about that, but you're going to gain something so much better. It was great to be with you on Easter, and may the blessings of Easter be yours, not just one day a year, but every day of your life.